The story of red shoes. She led a happy life with her mother in a small, cozy house. She led a happy life with her mother in a small, cozy house. Karen would ask her mother about anything she was curious about. One night, she asked what the bright lights in the sky were. Her mother gently replied, "Those are stars. Everyone we can no longer see on Earth turns into a star and shines like that." Karen had only one toy, one dress, and a pair of wooden clogs her mother had made. But those clogs hurt her feet terribly. One day, when her mother fell ill, Karen went to the market to buy her some medicine. On her way, she found a box lying by the road with a pair of shining red shoes inside. The shoes were so beautiful that Karen couldn't resist and took them. When she got home, she proudly showed the red shoes to her mother. Her eyes sparkled. She felt like she had found a hidden treasure. Her mother looked at the shoes. At first, she stayed silent. Then she softly said, "Karen, these might belong to someone else. Maybe a child dropped them by accident." Karen frowned immediately and hid the shoes behind her back. "No! There was no one there! I found them, so they're mine now!" she shouted stubbornly. She stormed out of the room and hid the shoes under her bed. Months passed. One day, when Karen came home, her mother was no longer in her bed. That's when Karen understood. Her mother had become one of those bright stars in the sky. The next day, Karen wore her hidden red shoes to her mother's funeral. The people at the funeral found her shiny red shoes quite odd. Just then, a kind elderly woman walking by the cemetery noticed the scene. When she found out Karen had no family left, she took her in and gave her a home. The old woman bought Karen new clothes and shoes. She tried everything she could to make Karen happy. But Karen stubbornly refused to wear anything other than her red shoes. Years went by. Karen grew into a young woman, but the stubborn little girl inside her never changed. No matter what the old woman gave her, Karen didn't like it. No matter what she cooked, Karen complained. As she grew, the red shoes no longer fit her feet. She began to whine constantly. With a grumble, she said, "These shoes are too small now, can't you see? I need new ones." The old woman didn't have much money, but she didn't want to disappoint Karen. They went to a shoe store together. As they wandered through the shelves, Karen's eyes lit up. She had spotted a pair that looked exactly like her childhood red shoes. They sparkled brightly, and there was only one pair. Karen turned to the old woman and said, "These are the ones. Let's buy these red shoes." The old woman hesitated for a moment, then replied, "Karen, we can only buy one pair of shoes, and the black ones are more practical. They're simpler. You can wear them anywhere." Karen was furious. She argued with the old woman for hours just to get the red shoes. At last, Karen shouted, "If I can't have those red shoes, I won't take any shoes. I'll walk barefoot. I won't even come home." The old woman felt utterly helpless. She ended up buying both the red and black shoes for Karen. But because she spent all her money, they had to walk home. Karen didn't care one bit. She put on the red shoes immediately and skipped all the way home, paying no mind to how sad the old woman looked. Days passed. Karen didn't even take the black shoes out of their box. Every night before bed, she gently cleaned her red shoes and placed them at the edge of her bed. In the mornings, she'd look for excuses to wear them, even inside the house. The old woman no longer said anything. She simply sighed and kept her sorrow to herself. One morning, someone knocked at the door. It was news that someone the old woman knew from town had passed away. Saddened, the old woman dressed in black and wore her black shoes. Then she approached Karen and said, "We're attending a funeral today. Please wear your black shoes." Karen looked at the red shoes on her feet and the black shoes in the box. Of course, she didn't wear the black shoes. She only put on a long black dress to cover the red shoes. That was it. To herself, she whispered, "No one will notice which shoes I'm wearing anyway." Without the old woman realizing it, they left the house for the funeral. The funeral was crowded. People walked slowly, praying and shedding tears. But in the middle of the silence, a little child tugged at his grandma's skirt and shouted, "Grandma, why is that lady wearing red shoes?" Everyone turned to stare at Karen's shoes. She tried pulling her dress this way and that, but she couldn't hide them. The shoes sparkled brightly, far too noticeable. The old woman noticed and became very upset. She scolded Karen, saying, "This is not proper behavior. You are too stubborn." But Karen didn't say a word. Her chin was high, her feet planted firmly on the ground. Eventually, the funeral ended and the crowd dispersed. As Karen and the old woman were about to leave the garden, a handsome young man from afar noticed the way Karen walked, almost as if she were dancing. Intrigued, he gently approached her. He complimented her kindly, then invited her to a ball being held at a grand mansion. Karen didn't know what to do out of excitement. She accepted the invitation and began dancing with joy. But soon, she couldn't stop her feet. She kept spinning, jumping, and danced farther and farther away. The old woman and the young man tried to catch up, but they couldn't. Eventually, they gave up and watched her disappear. The red shoes turned out to be even more stubborn than Karen. They made her dance for 3 days and 3 nights through hills and valleys. Not even muddy roads or big rocks could stop the shoes. Karen shouted, "Stop! Please stop!" But it was no use. Her feet were bruised and bloody, her heels cracked, her toes ached. She stepped into mud, got pricked by thorns, but the shoes wouldn't stop. "Please, I'm begging you, stop! Stop, red shoes!" she cried. As she did, the sky darkened. Night fell. A hunter, far away, heard her cries for help. He followed the voice quickly and found Karen still dancing without rest. He rushed to help her. "The shoes! Help me take them off," Karen pleaded. The hunter, very skilled, managed to grab her in the darkness of night. He finally pulled off the cursed red shoes and tossed them aside. At that moment, Karen collapsed to the ground from exhaustion. She had no energy left. The hunter gave her some water. Even then, the red shoes kept dancing by themselves. Eventually, they disappeared quietly into the deep forest. Realizing she had to let go of her stubbornness, Karen told the hunter, "I chose these shoes. I insisted on them. I wore them always. I ignored everyone's advice. and these shoes gave me my punishment." She thanked him deeply for saving her. She stood up slowly and limped home with the help of a thick stick. When she arrived, the old woman was at the door waiting. They hugged each other tightly. Though the old woman felt sad, she believed Karen had learned a valuable lesson. Karen understood how her stubbornness had hurt her. She promised to become more thoughtful. The old woman said, "True freedom doesn't mean doing whatever you want. It begins when you learn what to let go of." From that day on, Karen treated the old woman with respect and listened carefully to every piece of advice. She no longer thought about the red shoes. She realized there were far more important things in life. A few days later, there was a knock on the door. It was the handsome young man she had met. He said he had searched the entire city for her. Karen was overjoyed. Together they went to the ball at the beautiful mansion. That night became the beginning of their love story. And so Karen, having left behind her stubbornness, lived a peaceful life as a more understanding person. She was now a young woman who knew that it's not beautiful shoes, but a beautiful heart that truly matters.